Hello everyone. Welcome to UPSC Explainer 101. In this video, we'll explore the Chapter 26 of Spectrum, Constitutional, Administrative, and Judicial Developments. Let's dive in. Question 1. Discuss the constitutional and administrative changes in India during the Company Rule, 1773-1858, and under the British Crown till 1947. Answer. Regulating Act of 1773. Introduced British government involvement in Indian affairs, established a Governor-General and Council in Bengal, and created the Supreme Court of Calcutta. Pitt's India Act of 1784, furthered British control, established Board of Control, overseeing the company's civil, military, and revenue affairs. Charter Acts, 1793, 1813, 1833, 1853, extended company's rule, introduced administrative changes, and gradually opened India to Christian missionaries and European settlers. Government of India Act 1858, transferred governance from East India Company to British Crown, established Secretary of State for India and Viceroy in India. Indian Councils Acts, 1861, 1892, 1909, introduced legislative reforms, expanding council sizes, introducing non-official members, and beginning the practice of indirect election. Government of India Acts, 1919, 1935, introduced significant reforms like Dyachi in provinces, expanded legislative councils, and increased participation of Indians in administration. Question 2. Evaluate the economic impact of British rule in India. Answer. Drain of wealth, transfer of wealth from India to Britain, exploitation of Indian resources for British economic gain. Deindustrialization, decline of traditional Indian industries due to British policies favoring import of British goods, agricultural changes, introduction of cash crops, land revenue systems like permanent settlement, Rayatwari, and Mahalwari, leading to peasant hardships, infrastructure development, railways, roads, and telegraphs for economic exploitation, but also laid foundation for modern infrastructure. Question 3. Analyze the development of education during the British period in India. Answer. Macaulay's Minute, 1835, introduced English education, emphasizing producing clerks for administration, neglected vernacular and higher education. Wood's Dispatch, 1854, recognized importance of education, proposed systematic education policy including primary, secondary, and higher education, and encouraged women's education. Growth of universities, establishment of universities in Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras, 1857, marking the beginning of modern higher education in India. Question 4. Discuss the evolution of the press during British rule in India. Answer. Early beginnings, initiated by Europeans, later adopted by Indians as a tool for social reform and political mobilization. Vernacular Press Act, 1878, curbed freedom of the Indian press, repealed in 1882. Role in freedom struggle. Newspapers like Kesari, Hindu, and Amrita Bazar Patrika played a significant role in awakening national consciousness. Question 5. Examine the peasant movements and the working class movement from 1857 to 1947. Answer. Peasant movements. Various uprisings due to exploitative land revenue systems, indebtedness, and economic hardships. Movements had local character and lacked national perspective. Working class movement emerged with the growth of modern industries, focused on issues like wages, working conditions, and rights. Played a role in national freedom struggle. Question 6. Assess the judicial and police reforms under British rule. Answer. Judicial reforms, introduction of rule of law, codification of laws, establishment of courts at different levels. However, it remained expensive, inaccessible to the common man, and influenced by British interests. Police reforms, organized police force established for maintaining law and order, but often used for suppressing national movements and maintaining British control. Question 7. Critically analyze the impact of the British land revenue systems on the socio-economic structure of rural India. Answer. Permanent settlement, benefited zamindars, led to commercialization of agriculture but caused peasant exploitation. Rayatwari system, placed direct revenue burden on farmers, leading to indebtedness and land alienation. Mahalwari system, attempted to balance revenue demands with peasant welfare but often resulted in heavy taxation. Socio-economic impact, destabilized traditional agrarian society, increased rural poverty, and disrupted old community bonds. Question 8. Discuss how British educational policies shaped the socio-cultural landscape of India. Answer. Introduction of English education created a class of English-educated Indians, aiding in administrative jobs but causing cultural shifts. Neglect of indigenous education undermined traditional learning systems, causing a decline in classical education and indigenous knowledge. Socio-cultural impact led to the emergence of a new middle class, stimulated social reform movements, but also created cultural dissonance. Question 9. Evaluate the dual role of the British railway system in India in terms of economic exploitation and modern development. Answer. Economic exploitation. Railways facilitated resource extraction and transport of British goods, aiding colonial exploitation. Modern development improved internal connectivity, fostering trade and commerce, and laid foundations for modern economic development. Dual role served colonial interests while inadvertently setting the stage for a unified market and modern infrastructure in India. Question 10. Analyze the relationship between the British judicial reforms and the growth of Indian nationalism. Answer. Introduction of rule of law brought modern legal concepts, but often biased towards colonial interests. Codification of laws standardized legal system but ignored traditional laws and customs. Growth of nationalism. Judicial reforms exposed Indians to liberal ideas, contributing to the rise of legal activism and nationalist movements. Question 11. Examine the role of the Indian press in the freedom movement against the backdrop of British censorship policies. Answer. Role of Indian press became a tool for political education, social reform, and nationalist propaganda. British censorship acts like Vernacular Press Act aimed to curb nationalist writings, leading to conflict and resistance. Press and nationalism. Press played a key role in spreading nationalist ideas, despite British efforts to suppress it. Question 12. Assess the significance of peasant and working class movements in the Indian freedom struggle. Answer. Peasant movements highlighted rural grievances and exploitation, adding a mass base to the freedom struggle. Working class movements focused on labor rights but gradually aligned with nationalistic goals, showing class struggles' intersection with colonial resistance. Significance. Both movements broadened the scope of the freedom struggle, integrating diverse socio-economic groups into the national movement. Prelims MCQs. Who organized a regular police force in 1791, modernizing the old Indian system of thanas? A. Lord Mayo B. Lord Cornwallis C. Lord Bentinck D. Lord Curzon. Answer. B. Lord Cornwallis. What significant reform was introduced by the Indian Police Act of 1861? A. Establishment of a Central Intelligence Bureau. B. System of civil constabulary maintaining village watchmen. Appointment of Indian officers as district heads. D. Introduction of modern forensic techniques. Answer. B. System of civil constabulary maintaining village watchmen. In 1902, which department was established in the provinces for criminal investigation? A. Provincial Intelligence Department. B. Central Investigation Department. C. Criminal Investigation Department, CID. D. Police Intelligence Unit. Answer. C. Criminal Investigation Department, CID. Prior to the 1857 revolt, how were the British military forces in India structured? A. Only the Queen's Army. B. A mix of the Queen's Army and Company's troops. C. Exclusively Company's troops. D. Joint Indo-British forces. Answer. B. A mix of the Queen's Army and Company's troops. What was the major aim of the systematic reorganization of the Army after 1857? A. To integrate Indian soldiers into the British Army. B. To prevent the recurrence of revolts. C. To train Indian soldiers in modern warfare. D. To expand the British military presence in Asia. Answer. B. To prevent the recurrence of revolts. What ideology influenced the reorganization of the Indian branch of the Army after 1879? A. Equality among all soldiers. B. Balance and counterpoise or divide and rule. C. Integration of European and Indian military tactics. D. Expansion of the European branch over the Indian branch. Answer. B. Balance and counterpoise or divide and rule. Under Warren Hastings reforms, what laws were administered in district Fauzdari Adalats? A. British common law. B. Hindu law for all citizens. C. Muslim law for criminal disputes. D. Hindu law for Hindus and Muslim law for Muslims. Answer. D. Hindu law for Hindus and Muslim law for Muslims. What was the major change in the judicial system under Cornwallis's reforms? A. Introduction of the jury system. B. Abolishment of the district fauzdari courts. C. Establishment of high courts in major cities. D. Implementing common law for all citizens. Answer. B. Abolishment of the district fauzdari courts. What languages were allowed in the Supreme Court under Cornwallis's reforms? A. Only English. B. Persian and English. C. Vernacular or English. D. Only Persian. Answer. C. Vernacular or English. How did the codified laws under British rule affect the judicial system? A. They simplified legal procedures. B. They replaced religious and personal laws. C. They allowed for jury trials. D. They introduced an appellate system. Answer. B. They replaced religious and personal laws. In what aspect of the judicial system were European subjects treated differently? A. They were exempt from capital punishment. B. They had separate courts. C. They could be tried by a jury of their peers. D. In criminal cases, they were tried under different laws. Answer. D. In criminal cases, they were tried under different laws. What was a major drawback of the British judicial system in India? A. It was simple and easy to manipulate. B. It was complicated and expensive. C. It only applied to Indian subjects. D. It did not allow appeals. Answer. B. It was complicated and expensive. What was a significant issue with European judges in India? A. They were unfamiliar with Indian languages. B. They often favored Indian defendants. C. They lacked legal training. D. They were not familiar with local customs and laws. Answer. D. They were not familiar with local customs and laws. What did the Indian Councils Act 1861 do for local governance? A. It centralized all power in the British government. B. It promoted local government through municipalities. C. It abolished all forms of local government. D. It introduced direct elections for local bodies. Answer. B. It promoted local government through municipalities. What was the nature of local bodies formed between 1864 and 1868? A. They were mostly elected bodies. B. They were headed by district magistrates and had nominated members. C. They were completely autonomous. D. They consisted only of Indian members. Answer. B. They were headed by district magistrates and had nominated members. What did the Royal Commission on Decentralization, 1908, emphasize? A. The need for centralized financial control. B. The lack of financial resources as a major issue. C. The abolition of local bodies. D. The introduction of direct elections in local bodies. Answer. B. The lack of financial resources as a major issue. What was a key rationale behind Cornwallis's police reforms, which involved organizing a regular police force and modernizing the old Indian system of thanas? A. To improve public welfare and community service. B. To maintain law and order with a more efficient system. C. To provide employment opportunities for Indians. D. To strengthen the intelligence network against rebellions. Answer. B. To maintain law and order with a more efficient system. How did the Indian Police Act of 1861 reflect the British policy of maintaining control over Indian society? A. By centralizing the entire police system under British officers. B. By integrating traditional village watchmen into the constabulary system. C. By excluding Indians from higher ranks in the police force. D. By establishing an intelligence network to monitor anti-British activities. Answer. B. By integrating traditional village watchmen into the constabulary system. The establishment of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, in 1902 can be seen as a response to which requirement in British India? A. The need for a specialized unit for crime investigation. B. The demand for better coordination between provinces. C. The necessity to control political dissent. D. The requirement for modernizing police technology. Answer. A. The need for a specialized unit for crime investigation. How did the British military policy of divide and rule manifest in the reorganization of the Indian branch of the army after 1879? A. By recruiting soldiers only from martial races. B. By ensuring a one-third representation of Europeans. C. By promoting Indian officers to high command positions. D. By segregating European and Indian troops. Answer. A. By recruiting soldiers only from martial races. In the context of judicial reforms under Cornwallis, what was the significant change in the language policy in the Supreme Court? A. The introduction of English in place of Persian. B. The inclusion of vernacular languages along with English. C. The exclusive use of vernacular languages. D. The retention of Persian as the sole medium. Answer. B. The inclusion of vernacular languages along with English. What was the primary impact of the codification of laws under British rule in India? A. It led to the uniform application of laws across India. B. It replaced religious and personal laws with secular laws. C. It simplified legal procedures for the common people. D. It introduced jury trials in the Indian judicial system. Answer. B. It replaced religious and personal laws with secular laws. The Indian Councils Act of 1861's promotion of local government through municipalities reflected which British policy? A. Decentralization of administration. B. Centralization of legislative powers. C. Strengthening of the British control at the local level. D. Encouraging participatory governance among Indians. Answer. A decentralization of administration. Thanks for watching.